A nationwide blood shortage emergency has been issued by Vitalant, causing a concern for patients in our local hospitals.
KCBD News Channel 11's Natalie Falconberry spoke with Vitalant about the shortage and how you can help.
Right now, blood shortages are the worst they've been any time in the last 12 months.
A dwindling blood supply, not only nationally, but right here in the South Plains. Brandon Baker with Vitalant says with Lubbock being a medical hub, the low blood supply is concerning.
We use on average about 100 pints of blood every single day, 7 days a week, 365. So the blood usage is always there.
Baker says after the pandemic, many were not healthy enough to donate. Now with the so-called triple pandemic cases rising, those donor chairs are empty once again.
And blood donations from 2019 to 2022 are down about 50%. So nationwide, over 20,000 people who were donating blood before COVID who aren't now.
Making it even more important for those who are healthy and able to donate.
There's hospital patients here in West Texas, in Lubbock, that need the blood, and there's only one source for that blood, and that's your blood donation.
All blood donations that are given here in Lubbock go to local hospitals. Baker says those hospitals are in need of all blood types.
Specifically O's. O positive is the most common blood type, which means it's the most needed in hospitals, and also O negative, because that is a universal blood donor that can go to any patient.
If you are interested in donating blood, you can visit the Vitalant location on 48th in Indiana, or you can donate at various blood drive donation areas. We will have a link to that information on kcbd.com. Natalie Falconberry, KCBD News Channel 11.